Well, hello there, and welcome to episode number 43 of the Digital Marketing Masters podcast. Now, I am Yolanda Rose, and every week I bring you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to grow your business online almost immediately. I am a digital marketer. I work with small businesses all around the world to help them grow their digital footprint, and we're currently looking for two new small business owners that want to join my team, where we will manage your digital media from Instagram ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn profile management, and run your entire digital for you. So if you're keen to work on my team, drop me an email. It's yolanda@yolandarose.com. So today on the show, we're talking about all things Instagram. Now, if you haven't heard, Instagram is huge and people are just crushing it on the platform. And today I'm going to give you 5 steps that you can take to start really crushing it on Instagram. Now, right before we even start, I just want to state that you don't even have to be Instagram famous for your brand to see results, or even for you to see profits and to generate leads and sales online. Now, learning to be successful on Instagram isn't just about follower count, and we find a lot of people just so focused on a vanity metric such as the number of followers. But as entrepreneurs, we should always be looking for call to actions. Whatever we do, we need to relate it to our customer satisfaction, our profitability. So when it comes, the real success of Instagram comes from creating that engaged audience. And we create that level of engagement by generating amazing content. Creating a great campaign is essential to any digital marketing strategy, and that's no different for Instagram as well. But we need to understand that it takes a lot of effort to put out a strategy, to create really engaging content that can move our customer to action. So you really need to put in some thought before we even really start our Instagram game. So I've got this list for you today. We're going through 5 steps in how we can create an awesome Instagram strategy to grow your business, to get those leads, to get those sales, and to improve your brand experience for your customer. Firstly, you need to have your content strategy down to the T. It needs to be tight. It needs to be thorough. And a lot of times, us as small brands, we think that it's fine just to post a couple of photos, a few videos, and wait for the audience to come rushing in. But rarely is that the case. It's just not the way on how you can be successful on Instagram. So instead, you have to build a content strategy, just like how you would for any marketing campaign. So here's some guidelines that can help you in generating your Instagram content strategy. So try this, right? Research the best posts in your industry. So you're going to stalk some of your competitors and go through their profiles and identify a bunch of their most popular comments. So find 5, even up to 10 competitor brands and document their top posts within the last few months, the ones that get the most engagements, the most likes, the most saves. So mark all the commonalities of those posts, such as, are they product related? What kind of colors are they using? What kind of copy are they using? Are they photos of people? Are they images of babies? Find the commonalities and note that down, because the goal here is you want to see what works. Now, that being said, we don't want to copy our competitors. We want to stand out, but at this stage, we're just doing some reconnaissance. Yeah, we're seeing what works, we're seeing what doesn't work, and once we know what works, we're going to customize that to our brand, to build our strategy. So start building a vault of content around themes or an idea. Now plan out dozens of posts that could provide at least a month or 2 of content, and adjust them to your social media calendar and ensure that each of them has a consistent vibe. And be as unique as possible. I know we went and we looked in at what our competitors are doing, but we just went there to do a little bit of research. We need to customize our content to what we're trying to achieve in our business and to elevate our customer engagement. So while it's easier said than done, You got to be creative. And if you're not a creative person, this is where you can get some help with a graphic designer or some nice high-end software that can help you produce your Insta content. I personally, I have these two paid tools that I use. Although I do have a graphic designer and I have my team that works with me, I like to play around a little bit in Adobe Spark and Headliner. I love Spark. It has saved me tons of money on graphic design, and it saved me tons of money on video as well. And Headliner is just for engagement. There's nothing like it because, those nice little audiograms where you see the waves pulsate to the sound of your voice. That's an audiogram. It's really engaging. People like to click on it, especially when you have some nice graphics that's relating to what you talk about. In there, you put your text of whatever it is you're saying, and Headliner is really easy to use. I'm going to post all of these links in the show notes so you have an idea of this software. I think if you haven't used Adobe before, you can get a trial, but I'll try and put in all the links for the trials in the show notes, so check that out. So number 1 is your content strategy. Number 2, use branded hashtags. Now, as a brand on social, you need some form of marketability. Now, when I say branded hashtags, I'm not just, you get the regular hashtags where you just insert the hashtags with the general words. But branded hashtags are hashtags that you develop that's unique to your brand. Nobody else is using it as yet on Instagram. So create those for your business and encourage your audience to start using them and develop contests around them as well. In a couple of weeks, we're doing a dedicated hashtags on Instagram post. So we're going to break this down a little bit further. Avoid being overly promotional, but still market your brand. About 80% of the content I put there is not about buying or engaging. It's just about being inspiring and, having people share my content and save my content. Now, it's important stat to know that 7 out of 10 hashtags on Instagram are branded. This means your hashtag has to be really unique, really memorable, and really engaging. I know that there are businesses that encourage their audience to use their branded hashtags. So whenever an audience member posts on Instagram, they use the branded hashtags that gets the brand's attention, and the brand can reply. And that's what people are looking for. That's what customers are looking for. They're looking for that brand engagement. In fact, a recent, well, it was not recent anymore. In 2016, a survey was done where people, about 15% of people stop following brands or unfollow brands because they just don't reply. That's a significant number, especially if you're in huge hundreds of thousands of followers. 15% is huge. Remember that you want to fully inspect your chosen hashtags, as sometimes it can be associated with something else. I remember once I was doing, when I was in college, I was doing an assignment. I'm a sound engineer by profession. So we were doing some assignments on drums and the history of drums and percussion instruments. And I went to this website. Logically, you'd go to drummer.com, right? But drummer.com has nothing to do with drums. If that's your thing, you know what I'm talking about. There are specialist standalone tools in which you can run analytics for your Instagram tags, where you can see, the number of engagements, the most hashtags that we used, and the performance of your hashtags as well. And one of those is a tool like Sprout Social, and it's a paid tool. So you become discoverable when you use your hashtags, even though your current audience is not actually following you on Instagram. And you can almost think of hashtags like you would think of keywords in a search engine, but they're all confined to Instagram. When you neglect your Instagram hashtags, it means that your posts are more difficult for potential users to spot. So the third thing we got to do is have a call to action. Now, here's a question every company should ask themselves about its Instagram strategy. What drives users to follow your brand? Like we mentioned before, having Stunning photos certainly helps engage with users. However, what are you telling your audience if you don't have an appropriate call to action? Instagram captions are essential for a successful account because it gives users a reason for your content. Also, don't forget to link. Now, as you know, if you're a frequent Instagram user, there are no links in Instagram like you do with a Facebook post or LinkedIn post. Instagram is just unique in that way because it only allows that one link that's located in your bio. So swap out your links often because you only have that one piece of real estate on your Instagram bio. So don't just settle for a stale website link in your bio. Switch it up. Put a link to a discount coupon or a lead magnet, something exciting, but swap it up, change it up, make it fresh. Encourage people to always be going and checking out your bio link. I try not to link straight to my homepage because it's just so generic, very vanilla. Because we're running with themes, because remember when we drop our strategy, we're running with themes. So have your theme links in there, whatever your lead magnet is or whatever your content strategy is. Move with themes and have that very unique landing pages that you've developed for an Instagram audience. Number 4, you want to engage with users. Now, if you're starting your first Instagram campaign, it's essential that you take small steps towards building engagement. Now, if you follow brands like Nike, you're not likely going to get followed back. However, smaller brands can get following their fans or those they considered power users, especially those influencers that are really real advocates of your brand. So at the same time, use your space to engage with users and follow them if they produce content relevant to your industry. And 5, connect with influencers. As I mentioned a little earlier, many brands incorporate user-generated content to connect with users, like with hashtags. Collaborate and promote one another's Instagram. But influencers don't need to be they don't need to have 1 million users or have to be a celebrity to help you gain more exposure. Instead, brands need to find their niche social media influencers that can actually increase engagement and discussion around your company. So again, I like to use hashtags to identify users. You'll find for specific hashtags that are niche related, you'll always find similar people posting on them, and they're the most popular, the biggest. And those are the kind of influencers that you can collaborate with to create that level of engagement on your Instagram profile. So start to nurture and value your connections because just like your audience, influencers deal with robotic messages all the time. Try to build real relationships by meeting up at industry events and asking to host joint webinars. There's lots of ways to connect. And if you do it right, your successful Instagram account will be a source of entertainment and information for your audience. So that's it for me on this week's episode of the Digital Marketing Masters podcast. Don't forget, drop me a line if you want me and my team to handle the digital side of your business. My email address is yolanda@yolandarose.com. And a special shout out goes to WF Frederick. Thanks for linking up on Facebook. I love to hear on Instagram, I love to hear from you guys on Instagram. So go check me out. It's Yolanda Rose 7. Okay? It's Yolanda Rose 7. I want to hear from you on Instagram. Let's share some ideas and thoughts on how we can up our Instagram game. So I'll talk to you next week on the Digital Marketing Masters podcast.